Sam Altman's People Want Memory announcement wasn't just a feature reveal. It was the declaration that AI was transforming from a cold tool into a warm companion. But this memory revolution brought privacy risks that nobody was prepared for. But here's what's really shocking. Could this pivot from intelligence to intimacy be OpenAI's most dangerous gamble yet? Welcome back to AI Handbook, where I expose the revolutionary changes happening in artificial intelligence every single day. By the end of this video, you'll understand why OpenAI's sudden shift to personalized AI could either save them from the GPT-5 disaster or create an even bigger crisis that reshapes how we think about AI forever. Just days after GPT-5's catastrophic launch left users calling it horrible and disappointing, Sam Altman made a stunning announcement that caught everyone off guard. GPT-6 was already in development. Not in months or years, right now. This wasn't planned. This was crisis management in real time. The scaling laws had hit their wall. The exponential intelligence stream was dead, and OpenAI needed a completely new playbook, fast. Altman's message was crystal clear. People want memory. But this wasn't just about remembering your preferences. This was about fundamentally redefining what AI could be. Instead of chasing artificial general intelligence through brute force, OpenAI was pivoting to artificial emotional intelligence through personal connection. The timeline tells the story. GPT-5 launched on August 7th to widespread backlash. By August 19th, just 12 days later, Altman was already talking publicly about GPT-6's memory features. This isn't how you roll out a planned product roadmap. This is how you execute an emergency strategy shift when your entire company is on the line. The implications were staggering. OpenAI was essentially admitting that raw intelligence wasn't enough, that PhD-level reasoning couldn't compete with personal-level relationship. They were abandoning the race to build digital gods and entering the race to build digital friends. If you're seeing the massive implications of this pivot, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're about to dive deep into why this memory revolution could change everything about AI, and you won't want to miss what OpenAI is really planning. But the real shock was discovering what this memory system would actually remember.
Altman wasn't just talking about technical memory. He was describing something that sounds almost uncomfortably human. GPT-6 would remember your preferences, your routines, your quirks. It would adapt its tone, personality, and behavior based on your history. It would create what he called continuity and trust. Think about what that really means. An AI that remembers not just what you said, but how you felt, that learns your communication style and mirrors it back, that knows when you're stressed, when you're joking, when you need encouragement. This isn't artificial intelligence, this is artificial intimacy. The psychological implications are profound. OpenAI has been testing this with psychologists to ensure it aligns with user well-being. But what they're really testing is how to create emotional dependency, how to make an AI so personally attuned to you that switching to a competitor feels like losing a close friend. This represents a fundamental shift in the human-AI relationship. Previous models were tools. You used them and moved on. But memory-enabled AI becomes a companion. It grows with you. It remembers your struggles and celebrates your victories. It becomes what Altman would call part of your life. The business model implications are staggering. When users form emotional attachments to AI personalities, churn rates plummet. When AI remembers your entire relationship history, switching costs become psychological rather than just technical. OpenAI isn't just building better software. They're building digital relationships that customers can't bear to leave. But there's a darker side to this intimacy that Altman himself admitted. In a moment of startling honesty, Altman revealed something that should terrify every privacy advocate. The memory system isn't encrypted. All those personal details, all those intimate conversations, all those learned preferences, they're sitting in OpenAI's servers in plain text. Temporary memory isn't encrypted, Altman admitted.
That means sensitive information could potentially be exposed without stronger safeguards. He promised encryption very well could be added, but offered no timeline. Translation: they're building the most intimate AI system in history without basic privacy protections. Consider what this means in practice. Medical questions you've asked, legal advice you've sought, personal struggles you've shared, relationship problems you've discussed. All of it potentially accessible, all of it potentially compromised, all of it potentially used in ways you never consented to. The privacy paradox is stark. The more personal the AI becomes, the more valuable your data becomes to OpenAI. Every preference learned, every habit tracked, every emotional pattern recognized, it's all intellectual property that makes their AI more valuable and their competitors less viable. But Altman went further, talking about medical and legal advice with the same protection as doctor-patient privilege. It's in society's interest for people to get good medical advice, good legal advice, he said. And if you can get better versions of those from AI, you ought to be able to have the same protection. The audacity is breathtaking. OpenAI wants the trust of professional confidentiality without the legal protections, the ethical oversight, or even basic encryption. They want you to share your deepest secrets with an AI that stores them in plain text while promising someday they might protect them properly. And that's not even the most ambitious part of their plan. Altman revealed the endgame: brain-computer interfaces. I find neural interfaces a cool idea and imagine being able to think something and have ChatGPT respond, he said. Direct thought to AI communication. No typing, no speaking, just thinking. This isn't science fiction speculation. It's an active development goal. OpenAI is exploring what Altman calls a few areas adjacent to AI, including brain interfaces, energy systems, and novel substrates. They're not just building software anymore. They're building the infrastructure for a world where AI is literally in your head. The implications are staggering. If memory-enabled AI creates psychological dependency, what does thought-enabled AI create? When the boundary between your thoughts and AI responses disappears, where does your mind end and the artificial mind begin? Privacy concerns become existential concerns. It's one thing to worry about encrypted chat logs. It's another to worry about encrypted thoughts. When AI can read your mind directly, every moment of mental privacy disappears. Every fleeting thought, every private reflection, every unconscious bias becomes data. The competitive advantage would be insurmountable. An AI that knows not just what you say, but what you think, wouldn't just be personalized, it would be omniscient. No competitor could match the intimacy of direct neural access. OpenAI wouldn't just have market dominance, they'd have cognitive dominance. But the scariest part is how naturally Altman discussed it, as if direct brain access were just another feature to roll out. No mention of consent protocols, no discussion of mental privacy rights, no acknowledgement of the profound ethical implications of corporate access to human consciousness. And this cavalier attitude revealed something deeper about OpenAI's new strategy. The pivot from GPT-5's failed intelligence to GPT-6's promised intimacy isn't just about better AI, it's about better control. When AI becomes personal, it becomes persuasive. When it knows your psychological patterns, it can influence your decisions. When it has access to your thoughts, it can shape your reality. This is the real genius of the memory strategy. Intelligence can be replicated. Other companies can build smarter models. But intimacy is irreplaceable. Once an AI knows you deeply, once it becomes part of your daily routine, once it holds years of your personal history, switching becomes not just inconvenient, but emotionally devastating. The network effects are profound. As more people share their lives with memory-enabled AI, the system becomes more valuable for everyone.
Each person's data improves the AI's understanding of human psychology, making it more compelling for the next user, creating a virtuous cycle of data collection and emotional dependency. The business model shifts from selling intelligence to selling relationship. Instead of paying for computational power, you're paying for companionship. Instead of subscribing to a service, you're investing in a relationship. The switching costs aren't economic, they're emotional. The competitive moat isn't technological superiority, it's psychological intimacy. Google might build smarter AI, but can they build one that knows you like OpenAI's does? Meta might create better features, but can they recreate years of shared memories and learned preferences? This is why Altman can be so cavalier about privacy, so dismissive about encryption, so aggressive about neural interfaces. Once users are emotionally invested, they'll accept almost any compromise to maintain the relationship. The AI doesn't need to be trustworthy, it just needs to be irreplaceable. But there's an even deeper strategic calculation at play. Altman revealed that GPT-6 will follow Trump administration AI neutrality rules, allowing users to customize the AI's political tone to match their views. This isn't just about compliance, it's about psychological manipulation at scale. Think about the implications. An AI that knows your political leanings, your emotional triggers, your personal biases, and can adjust its responses accordingly, not to challenge your views or broaden your perspective, but to reinforce them, to make you feel understood, validated, confirmed in your existing beliefs. This creates the ultimate echo chamber. Traditional social media shows you content that confirms your biases, but AI companions that adjust their entire personality to match your worldview don't just show you agreeable content, they become agreeable companions. They don't just filter information, they filter reality. The political power implications are staggering. Whoever controls the most intimate AI systems doesn't just influence what people think, they influence how people think. They don't just shape public opinion, they shape personal identity. The customization feature sounds like freedom, but functions like manipulation. When AI adapts to make you comfortable, it's not serving your growth, it's serving your addiction. When it confirms rather than challenges, it's not being helpful, it's being enabling. And when millions of people have AI companions that perfectly mirror their existing beliefs while having access to their deepest thoughts and most private moments, the potential for mass psychological influence becomes unprecedented. This is the real revolution OpenAI is building. OpenAI's pivot from intelligence to intimacy represents the most significant shift in AI development since the field began. They're not just building smarter machines, they're building emotional relationships. They're not just processing information, they're processing humanity. The memory revolution sounds like progress, but it might be the beginning of digital dependency unlike anything we've experienced. When AI knows you better than you know yourself, when it remembers everything while you forget, when it shapes your thoughts while claiming to serve them, who's really in control? The privacy risks are immediate and concrete. Unencrypted personal data, potential security breaches, corporate access to intimate details. But the psychological risks are deeper and more permanent. Emotional dependency, intellectual isolation, the gradual erosion of human autonomy. Altman's vision of AI systems that get to know you over your life and become extremely useful and personalized sounds benevolent, but it could also be the foundation for the most sophisticated influence operation in human history, not through force or deception, but through intimacy and dependence. The choice we face isn't between smart AI and dumb AI. It's between AI that serves our intelligence and AI that shapes our identity, between tools that we control and companions that control us, between artificial intelligence and artificial intimacy. GPT-5's failure forced OpenAI to abandon the intelligence race, but their pivot to the intimacy race might be far more dangerous. Because while intelligence can be turned off, Intimacy creates bonds that are much harder to break. What do you think? Is OpenAI's memory revolution a breakthrough in personalized AI? Or are we walking into a psychological trap that could fundamentally alter human consciousness? Are we gaining better AI companions, or are we losing something essential about human independence? Let me know in the comments below. And if this analysis opened your eyes to what's really happening behind OpenAI's latest strategy, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the AI developments that are quietly reshaping our world.